I'd like to acknowledge first that we're meeting on the traditional land of Saugeen, the Ojibwe Nation, which is represented by the communities of Saugeen First Nation and Chippewas and Nawash unceded First Nation. We also think of the Métis Nation of Ontario, whose history and people are well represented in Bruce and Drake counties. We have not received any regrets this evening. Our moment of reflection. Recently, Education Week was celebrated across Ontario. It was a chance for us to celebrate the many diverse learning experiences that contribute to the growth, success, and well-being of our students in Blue Water District School Board. From kindergarten to graduation, from numeracy, literacy, science, art, and music, to technology, skills trades, social justice, and so much more. Our schools are working diligently to promote pathways for all students. Blue Water also recently recognized Mental Health Week, which is an initiative spearheaded by our community partners and the Canadian Mental Health Association. Thanks to the staff from our board's mental health team, daily activities were provided for classrooms and schools to utilize in promoting campaign objectives and modeling to the students the importance of looking after and nurturing well-being. This year's Mental Health Week theme was Healing Through Compassion, with a focus on our individual capacity to be compassionate, which can make an enormous difference on our mental health and the mental health of others. For our moment of reflection, and in acknowledging both Education Week and Mental Health Week, I would like to draw attention to the important connection between both occasions. Student success achieved in our education system cannot occur without proper attention to maintaining good mental health. Please join me to reflect on and acknowledge the many ways in which our students, staff, families, and partners promote wellness year-round in our schools and work sites to ensure positive student achievements and outcomes. The approval of the agenda. Could I have a mover and seconder that the agenda for the regular meeting of the board of May 21st, 2024 be approved as printed? Trustee McComb and Trustee Morgan. All in favor? Thank you. That is carried. Trustee Kaikkonen.
I would like it to be noted again that the land acknowledgement was not included in the agenda package, and neither was the moment of reflection.
It's been emailed out to you
on the package.
Is there?
Everything after the call to order has to be in my package. It is not my package. I'm raising it again.
Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest on any of the items on the agenda? I see none. Approval of the regular meeting of the board minutes from April 16th. Could I have a mover and a seconder that the minutes of the regular meeting of the board of April 16th, 2024 be approved as printed? Trustee Lutz, Trustee McComb. Are there any errors or omissions from that agenda? Trustee Kaikkonen.
On the April 16th minutes, I'd like to note under A4B that it says the business arising from minutes trustee Kaikkonen objected to the time stop regarding new business. On B1A2 at the March 5th, 2024 committee of the whole board meeting, Chair Thompson provided clarification regarding the stoppage. I wanted to be noted again that there wasn't but the clarification for the stoppage. It was the fact that the trustees' commentary that was David entitled to for 3 minutes of speaking time or shut down. So that was what I mean.
I'd like to just reinforce, it is not a right to speak for 3 minutes on anything. It is about the topic that's at hand. So that would be the stoppage of the conversation. It's not just 3 minutes. Is there any other items? I see none. All in favor? Thank you, that is carried. The approval of the committee of the whole board minutes May 2nd. Could I have a mover and seconder that the minutes of the committee of the whole board meeting of May 7th, 2024 be approved as printed? Trustee Gray, trustee Morgan, any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, that is carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Trustee Peckham?
In terms of the May 7th meeting, I would like to respond to the Student Senate reflections in C1B that was permitted to be brought forward. There was a letter written on the Blue Water District School Board letterhead, and it was dated May 7th. I would like to first applaud the freedom of speech for the student senators who did bring forward their thoughts. It's absolutely great that people can bring forward their freedom of speech. I think that's a wonderful perspective that people don't feel fearful about bringing forward.
Trustee Peckham? We're talking about the minutes. And so it's, if there was action taken at the minutes, we had an opportunity at the board meeting to respond to the activity that was happening to the students. That was our opportunity to make a comment, a statement. This is not the time to do it now. So if there was something from the minutes, an action that wasn't taken, for instance, something that wasn't circulated, this is your opportunity to ask about that.
I am raising the business arising from the minutes of the May 7th meeting, and I would like to respond to the business that was brought forward on May 7th. And that is what I'm doing.
Our opportunity was at the meeting. You had an opportunity at the meeting to respond to what the student said, and that was when it should have been said. Go ahead.
So then let me just note that the student senator's letter was written on Blue Water District School Board, which means dated May 7th, which means that everybody who signed is legally responsible for this letter and the contents therein.
That sounds like a threat. Yeah. Madam Chair, point of order, that sounds like a threat to me, to the students.
Point of order, also, I find that threatening.
Trustee Kaikkonen, would you like to withdraw that comment, please?
I would like to be able to make the comment that I had started with, the business arising from the minutes. That is what I would like to respond to. It is not a threatening comment. It certainly isn't a threatening comment from the against the students, because I believe I started with, I applaud your freedom of speech and your willingness to speak out. That's how I started this conversation. That is not against the student senators.
Just because you start by saying that you applaud us doesn't mean what you say after isn't a threat.
Trustee Kaikkonen, we're going to move on. Our excellence in education. I would like to invite Superintendent Lefebvre to speak to this report. It's our Georgian College partnership.
Thank you very much, Chair. Looks like they had the microphone set for Dave's side, not mine. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Dave Shorey. I'm proud to call him a friend of mine. We met a few years ago when he started as the executive director for the Owen Sound campus, Georgian College. He has done a phenomenal job at promoting Georgian College and the post-secondary opportunities available for students, not just in our area, but internationally. Whenever I'm at Georgian College, it's just fabulous to see the diversity of the students within the programs and what they're actually doing there. I must admit, I followed a university pathway. And when I look at the data for our students here in Bluewater, I know that a number of our students, actually twice as many students, follow a college pathway than a university pathway. So it is imperative for us as educators here at Bluewater to know and understand what colleges have to offer. And Dave comes from both a university background. He's a proud University of Guelph. And like, where are you? Great, Brad. Anyway, my daughter was great. I spent a lot of money there. Anyway, I'm going to introduce Dave right now. He's going to take over and share with you a little bit about Georgian College, what they have to offer, and also a wonderful partnership that we've established with Georgian and with Dave. Thank you.
Really, thanks. Sorry for being over here, Greg. Do I apologize there? Good evening, late afternoon, evening, everybody. I really appreciate the opportunity here. Thank you so much for being able to share the story of Georgian College's Owen Sound campus and more broadly, the ways in which we've been able to partner to build what I would call educational infrastructure. The ways in which we have a really rare and valuable and precious asset. It's mostly rural serving. The existence of a full service campus in Great Bruce is a rare asset. And so I'm happy to share a little bit on what we're about, what we believe, what we do, and the ways in which we are trying to support pathways to careers that are both local and, as he said, national, international. I'm going to move through the content pretty quickly, but I did want to highlight this is an Auditor General report from 2021 speaking about the function of publicly assisted colleges. And really just to focus particularly on the bolded text is to support the social and economic development of communities. There is a range of different colleges that exist in the province of Ontario, 24 in fact, with multiple locations that exist. So in terms of us as a sector, we're certainly across the province and more broadly as a champion of post-secondary education, we certainly have a very broad reach. What's pretty cool about the Owen Sound campus though is that we opened in 1968. All Ontario colleges opened in 1967. So we were here pretty much from the beginning and have continued to operate in this region. Now, we do have 7 campuses, and the Owen Sound campus is the furthest west. I grew up in Bruce County. I went to high school in Owen Sound. I did that drive regularly. Left for a whole bunch of years, as we talked about, getting the opportunity to come back home and to advance post-secondary education, and it's been a really special thing for me. So it's both personal and professional for me. But this math, what I always said to our marketing team is that there's a bit of a flaw that we need to really, not shade out Bruce County as much because we really are a very Bruce serving campus that has a number of programs that have a much broader reach. Here's what I believe, and I'm doing a little extra academic work about this, and that is really the impact of rural post-secondary institutions that have done correctly. If we're aligned with regional needs, they become irreplaceable infrastructure. And I'm here speaking about the ways in which we are working together between Bluewater as well as Georgian College to ensure that we can more fully realize our opportunity and our mandate. We have here on this graphic, and it's a larger slide deck, but I'm going to move through pretty quickly. I should acknowledge that. But in terms of post-secondary completion or engagement rates, if you take a look at Grey Bruce County and the city of Owen Sound as a separate data point within the 2021 census, and you compare that to the provincial averages, we are below the provincial average in terms of post-secondary engagement and completion. And I use this as a bit of a guidepost for us to think about how we might be able to illuminate opportunities for young people, or people of all ages, I should say. I mean, our average age for a learner is in the mid to high 20s, and the ways that we can actually create some new pathways locally. Proudly, we have over 10,000 alumni that are from the Owen Sound campus specifically. We passed the 100,000 mark of alumni of Georgian College, but over 10,000 alumni, over 50% of which remain in the region. And we're recognized because of our emphasis on work integrated learning, on experiential learning, hands-on learning, and that we have the highest, if not one of the top 3 every year for the last 20 years in terms of a graduate employment rate. I mean, this is really what we're about, right? It's about illuminating career pathways and then helping people get the jobs they want. We have 2 commitments to this community. The first is helping people to realize those futures and give them the skills that they can get the job with, and then working with employers to make sure that we have a localized, talented workforce that aligns with the jobs that are needed. Certainly a ton of industry engagement. This is just one example. A lot of industry and community engagement, non-profits, for-profits, sector organizations, because we want to make sure that the skills we're developing are aligned with the needs. The other thing I would say is that we are really a regional capacity builder and responsive one. This is an image from the Nuclear Innovation Institute in Port Elgin. We're now delivering graduate education in grade groups for the first time. So this is a graduate certificate in project management. So partners across grade groups in terms of capacity building to meet needs. The other thing we're really focused on is creating conditions for success. What's remarkable and something I didn't appreciate until I first looked at this job nearly 3 years ago was how much we have in person for grade groups. Career co-op, counseling, accessible learning, tutoring, testing technology, academic upgrading, which is free. You know, there's a whole host of supports that we have on our campus that support pathways to employment. In terms of our enrollment, this is what it looks like. 400 to 700, depending on the term, post-secondary enrollment. Those are in 1, 2, 3, and 4-year programs, including our honors Bachelor of Science in Nursing. There is also a second bucket, which is we have over 600 apprentices that are on our campus over an annual basis. An apprentice is someone who's employed and is on our campus for 8 to 10 weeks, a couple times throughout years to be able to get their schooling. The third bucket, we are Central Canada's Center for Marine Training and Research. And we have 2,100 mariners that were on our campus just in the last calendar year that are upskilling, credentialing. We train all the way up to captains, those that are on boats. Just like there's pilots in planes, there's pilots in boats, and we have it right here. Really is. I can't stress enough how special it is. In terms of program areas, very broadly, here are the 5 areas we're focused on. Skilled trades and apprenticeship, community health and well-being with a full suite of health and wellness, marine training and research with 2 advanced diplomas that are in critical need. Our graduates are making over 100,000 as soon as they leave the door because of how in demand they are. Clean energy technologies, we have power engineering technology, as well as business and management, to which I've referenced a little bit. The last thing I wanted to really focus on was, and I'll just skip over this part, research. That's what that's about. Is that we are partners in education and we are working towards excellence. And the ways that we work together between Blue Water and Georgian College, you can see 4 different graphics that are on the screen here that speak to school within a college. Also, as we know, it's flex. Those are students that are at the most risk of not graduating. They actually complete their high school diploma on our campus with faculty and a ton of wraparound supports. They're exposed to the college campus and they get to do things like, work in their work facilities and be a part of the community. That inspires, a bright future. The range of dual credits that we're offering now are remarkable for a number of different demographics, like welding. We have a dual credit welding that's being offered at SDSS in Port Elgin. We have, I just ran into the free health students that are on our campus right now doing it in the evening, a free health dual credit. We have for adult learners, accounting, I'm not getting the name quite right there, but fundamentals in accounting or personal finance, I should say. These are credits where a high school student gets a high school credit as well as a college credit. And the point here is to imagine what life might be like if you're interested in pursuing post-secondary. It introduces you to disciplinaries. It doesn't commit you to them. It introduces you to them. The other thing we have done a ton of work on is specialized high skills majors. Those are students that are in grade 11 and 12 that express an interest in an area. What's great about our campus is that we are a fully loaded post-secondary institution. And we have faculty with terminal degrees, PhDs, and a number that come from industry experience, deep industry experience, that work with students who are in grade 11 and 12, that are, let's say, the health and wellness specialist high skills major. They come into our facilities, brand new health and wellness wing, high fidelity simulators that they can then learn on. And they get certifications, they're exposed to faculty expertise. These are ways in which we're able to support students in exploring, again, programs that are in our backyard, but we're not bound to Georgia. You know, I'm a champion of post-secondary broadly. So as they're exposed to different program areas, it might help them think about where they might want to go. I just hope that it's Georgia, right? Honest, right? I grew up here, I didn't get, and we had the kind of offerings that we have. And so as much as I can create that awareness. The last thing I'll say in terms of program areas, that we have the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. Right now, we have level 1 cooks, we have level 1 carpentry students that are on our campus that are completing their level 1 apprenticeship while finishing high school. All of this, you know, type on the side, explore possibilities, reach ahead, and succeed. This is a way to expose people to pathways that they might not otherwise know and understand. And so some of these images are really just reflections of the kind of work we're doing. We pack the rooms when it comes to the specialist high skills major days. We had over 400 students on our campus over 4 days in October. We had more students in the winter term. Industry partners that are introducing them to a number of different concepts relevant to that work. This is where we had after grad, which was in February, grade 11s and some grade 12s exploring what might be after graduation. We had a number of different sector panels, wellness, transportation, including our marine sector, as well as skilled trades and manufacturing. We had the King Gardens District secondary students, secondary school students that are doing the energy co-op with Nuclear Innovation Institute. They were on our campus and we were able to do a really immersive hands-on learning with them over a couple of days. And then Great Highlands, we brought virtual reality to a number of schools in Great First County. We have over 300 Oculus headsets, virtual reality headsets, and we introduced a new disciplinary, which is electric vehicle maintenance. And so as EVs become more ubiquitous, this was a way to introduce students to something that they might want to pursue. Bruce Power still does Take Your Kids to Work Day. I was there, saw a lot of kids, spoke about pathways. And this is where I'll finish. Joy Experiments was a book that was written by 2 authors in the Waterloo region. And they wrote the future of Canada as mid-sized cities. And I wrote it back pretty quickly afterwards because I opened it up and I love the book. I truly do. But my message to them was, I don't think it only applies to mid-sized cities. I think you're talking about community building. So if you indulge me for a second here, there are many measurements for success for city building, but our youth is the measurement that matters most. Kids from all aspects of our cities need to feel they have a future in their hometown where they'll be attracted to the cities that offer it. Imagine our kids changing the world without ever having to leave home. Look, I'm not discouraging people from exploring, but imagining and seeing yourselves thriving here, that's what I'm here about. So thank you for the opportunity to partner. I look forward to deepening that partnership and welcome any questions that might come my way.
Thank you so much. Do trustees have any questions or comments? Trustee Lutz?
Thank you very much for the fantastic presentation, and I just wanted to thank you for all the incredible opportunities that are happening right now with students with the dual credit programs and flux and all that. And it really does offer up opportunities that, you know, weren't necessarily there when all of us were young. So it's so great to see, and I hope they will be expanded into the future. And I don't have any authority to say, so I think will, but I'll say I hope we continue doing them. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And they certainly are the resource intensive, but what I want to make sure I prioritize, thank you to Lori, Keith, Anita's around, maybe Kim, Chad. You've been wonderful partners to be able to prioritize programs like dual credits. And I was recently shared a stat that 1 in 5 students are graduating now with a dual credit. That speaks to the success of it. And I was actually blown away by it. I knew we were busy, but I didn't realize it was at that volume. So yeah, thank you.
And just to add on to that, also 21% of our students are receiving their final credit as a dual credit. So that dual credit is actually the means to the end for them. It's getting them across that finish line, which is fantastic.
There's also the Grizzly Cuts program, which was missed with the OYAP. And so that's an opportunity for the students before they get to intermediate, grades 5 and 6, to experience some of those apprenticeship opportunities in the college setting, which is fantastic. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Kim is over there, and Kim Arvidsson is our learning service administrator, who has worked really hard with Anita to develop this relationship with the college. And thank you.
Trustee Kaikkonen?
I would like to thank you for your presentation. My first memory of Georgian College was when I was shortlisted for dean in the health sector, in the health faculty at Barry campus. So that was some time ago. But I did take a wonderful look at the campus and I thought, wow, you are going places, and I can see that you're still going places. My question is, when you talk about the pre-health dual credit in the high schools, what's the next steps for students leaving high school who would like to pursue nursing? Do they have to go someplace else, or is Owen Sound have programs for them?
You teed it up. Beautifully. So thank you. I'm happy to, thank you for the question. So whether they take the dual credit or not, there is a full spectrum of offerings that we have on the Owen Sound campus. The short answer is no, you don't have to leave. We have a 1-year pre-health certificate program that students are often, really popular option, especially in the last 2 years, to explore what they might want to do. So this is a way of being able to upgrade a little bit and then explore different career pathways. We also have the 1-year personal support worker program, PSW program. We have the 2-year practical nursing program, which is a diploma program. We have the 4-year honors Bachelor of Science nursing program, so you graduate as an RN. And starting this fall, we've now been able to offer the bridging program. So if you are a practical nurse, you get bridged to a registered nurse. That's all on the Owen Sound campus, and it's standalone. It was at one time that we needed to partner with the university, so we had a partnership with York University the first 2 years in Owen Sound, the second 2 in York. But in working with the province, they've certainly been open to this shift, and so now we do a standalone 4-year degree program. And I would say that that's one of the fundamental shifts in the college sector, is that we are degree granting institutions now. And so that full spectrum of program offerings is really quite rich. There was some, this is a good one, I promise you. This is something that's been rather recent. If a student, whether from outside the region, they're from Ontario or from inside Greater Bruce County, if you come to the Owen Sound campus, complete the 2-year practical nursing program or the 4-year honors Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and then you work in healthcare in Greater Bruce for either 1 or 2 years afterwards, your tuition is totally paid for. And that's through the province. That's tuition, that's some additional expenses like textbooks, other course materials. So it's called the Learn and Stay Grant. And so students are eligible to apply for that. So I'm not sure if you do that, I feel like you maybe did, so thank you for setting me up for that.
Trustee Atkinson?
Well, I must say, the Honors Bachelor of Nursing is one of the best programs in the province of Ontario. I'm right. But in all seriousness, it's compatible to going to Ottawa, to wherever you want to go to do the nursing program.
Yeah.
It's spot on.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, we're very excited, and it became a critical enabler, being granted the 4-year honors degree, that we were able to invest digital capital. The community really came together on that. There's a number of names that are around. We have a number of wings, the C wing, it's the health and wellness wing. We have a number of community members named. There was a lot of private donors that came forward to be able to help us get a facility to a place where we're able to offer really elite education. And I say that, obviously I have a bias, but we had a doctor actually from the University of Toronto, St. Mike's campus. He's a faculty member there, and he walked around. And I'm not into, I understand it's a smaller footprint, but he said, geez, you got way more than we do. Because these high fidelity simulators, we have a gentleman who can simulate full cardiac arrest. Mom Victoria can deliver up to twins. We have infants, newborns, pediatric Hal, who's 8 years old, and then those that are near end of life, reflective of our community and the demographics of our community. And it's remarkable how immersive it becomes so quickly. So if anyone's interested, I'm happy to provide tours.
Trustee Morgan?
Thank you. Not to be outdone by trustee Atkinson, I too am an alumni, but not in the sciences. I'm carpentry general.
Awesome. I love it. It's sweater.
Trustee McCall.
Yes, my son is a graduate of accounting in Georgia College. And he's worked in Greenwich ever since and never been without a job.
I love that. See, I didn't expect testimonials tonight. Yeah, thank you. This is what I love. I mean, hearing these alumni stories. Sometimes it's a bit of a quiet alumni base. I think we should be louder. I think we should be more celebratory because it is a success story. Over 10,000 alumni out of the Old Sound campus alone. And as you said, I mean, it's not one of the highest, not the highest grad rate in the province. We've got a lot of history dating back to 1968. So there's a lot of good stories there.
Thank you so much. I see no more questions. I wonder if you've changed the minds of any of our students sitting over there.
Yeah.
Excitement. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we have a delegation from the town of Blue Mountains, the police, Blue Mountains Police Services Board, regarding student and youth engagement. So I'd like to invite Jim Oliver, the chair of the Blue Mountains Police Services Board, Laura Litcherson, the detachment commander of the Blue Mountains Police Services, and Andrea Matrovis. Thank you, the mayor. And as we talked for a moment, I can give you a little hands up at the 10-minute mark. And following the presentation, trustees can ask any questions of clarification about the presentation that you heard tonight. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of the board, trustees, staff, and ladies and gentlemen. As your chair said, I'm Jim Oliver. I'm the chair of the Blue Mountain Police Services Board with the OPV detachment for the town of Blue Mountains. You've already met Mayor Matrosov, who is a member of our board, and I'm just going to ask her to bring a word or two to you first.
Thank you, Chair Oliver, and thank you to the chair, through the chair, to all the members here of the board. Thank you very much for the time that we have here. I am Andrea Matrosov, the mayor of Blue Mountains, but prior to my political career entering into politics in 2018, I was actually a teacher, a college teacher, but not at Georgia's. But a big core component of my background was teaching at the high school level. And the last place I taught high school was at Collingwood Collegiate. And during that time, I saw the positive impact of having our presence of our constable in our schools and how it could change something from being able to de-escalate something to being that resource person that a young student may need to reach out to in a time of need. So I certainly support the words that are going to be shared by Chair Oliver, as well as Boris, as well, to say that this is something that really works, and we're really pleased to be here to continue that partnership that we have here at the school board.
Very much, Andrea. We do appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and bring you a little bit of information about, not only about our board, and that may be new information for you, but more importantly about what our OPP detachment officers are doing within our schools. And of course, we're only a small part of the Blue Water District. Everybody perhaps knows the geography, but in case you don't, Beaver Valley Community School within the town of Thornbury is our elementary school. And of course, many of our students from the town of the Blue Mountains are attending the beautiful new Georgian Bay Community School in Leaford. So that's also part of the area of our interest, even though it's within the area of another detachment. We do work closely with our sister board, which is the town of Collingwood Police Services Board, on a number of things. And interest in support of schools and student programs and so on is certainly one of those areas of sharing for us. There are two programs in particular, and Loris will be touching on these in a little bit more detail, that are relevant, I think, to you particularly this evening. That being the School Resource Officer Program, which is a program offered in a number of OPP detachments across Ontario. Coincidentally, there happens to be some research going on right now through the University of Waterloo about the School Resource Officer Program across Ontario, where it's working well, where it could be improved, what its results are, and are there areas that need more collaboration and cooperation, if you like, either between detachments or between OPP detachments and schools. The second one that we are implementing within our town of the Blue Mountains detachment is the community safety officer. And Loris will touch on that as well. I think one of the things that was important to me as chair of our board in coming tonight is that there may be opportunities for our police service board. And I should mean that as a sidebar, we may soon no longer be known as police services boards within Ontario. We have new legislation governing policing in Ontario as of the 1st of April of this year. And for OPP detachments, we will be known as OPP detachment boards rather than police service boards. So that's a new name you'll have to maybe get used to. But there may be opportunities, my point being, for us as a board to work with our neighboring police service boards, because of course your Blue Water District has several OPP detachments as well as municipal police forces that provide officers and safety for the community. Our OPP detachment action plan, and I did bring it just to remind you all that we all follow this, our Grey Bruce Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan, and of course your board is part of, as we are, talks about the importance of working with students and children, supporting them, encouraging them, protecting them, and making them more effective members of our community. That's really what we're all about in terms of coming here this evening to talk to you about ways in which this is happening and ways in which it can continue to happen. I do want to mention in particular, and we applaud and agree with your board having formed your school police committees. And Inspector Litchison and our Sergeant Kevin Cornell are part of that team working with your staff on that program. I guess we've observed as a board in recent years that sometimes police officers have been made less welcome in schools, and in some cases even excluded from schools in some larger urban communities. And we're anxious for that not to happen here. And again, that's part of our motivation in being here to speak with you tonight. Madam Chair, it's for these reasons, I guess, in particular, that we asked for the opportunity to come tonight and explain to you briefly some of what our detachment is doing, not only with schools or with students directly in schools, but with youth in general in our community. And I'd like to turn it over to Inspector Litchison. You all as trustees and I think staff received the information from us in advance. No doubt you had a chance to look at it, but Loris will just touch on a few highlights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You can tell I'm not, I'm the only one without any kind of political experience here, so I can read for it. I had down to 4 minutes and we're at the 6-minute mark, so hopefully we'll be good to go. I just wanted to echo Mayor Mastersoft and Chair Oliver's comments and how deeply grateful we are that you allowed us to come here tonight. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the wonderful relationship that we do have with the Beaver Valley Community School in the town of Thornbury. With staff and students there, and also with the board. We're truly grateful for that. And this was an opportunity for us to tell you a little bit about our priorities and focus as a detachment when it comes to youth in our communities and youth in our schools. For the Collingwood and Blue Mountains OPP detachment, youth engagement is a priority. And it's specifically included and noted as such in our detachment action plan, which was developed in consultation with our communities and police service boards. We believe strongly in creating a safe environment for our children to grow and learn, and in creating opportunities for proactive interaction and positive engagement so that children might see police officers as helpers and people that you can go to for safety. Our efforts, and indeed our detachment structures, are grounded in this philosophy. I know you have a written submission, so I won't go into it in detail, but I will touch on it briefly. Again, at our attachment, we have a strong community services officer program that focuses on crime prevention, communication, and youth engagement through the delivery of the OPP Kids program to grade 6 students. Through the high school co-op program, which that officer administers and supervises. Through the provision of bike rodeos, specific needs presentations as requested by schools, and with outreach with youth groups and summer camps. We are likewise very fortunate to have a high school officer or a school resource officer as a municipal contract enhancement with the town of Collingwood. This officer focuses her efforts on the youth high schools in our area. She has built strong working relationships with staff and students and school administrators. And she works hard to know the students, who get to know their families, their circumstances, and the issues that they're dealing with. In this way, she can try to support students who will focus on root causes of behavior as opposed to just dealing with behavior itself when conducting investigations or responding to calls. Now, we have prioritized continuing education and training for our members through participation in the Community of Youth Officers of Ontario Conferences, or COYO, through membership in the Canadian Police Youth Network, and through violent threat risk assessment or VTRIP training, to ensure that we are aware of evolving best practices and that we're in line with our community partners and that we're all speaking the same language. Now, as an attachment, we recognize and encourage volunteerism in our membership, and many of our officers are coaches and volunteers in our community. They support summer camps and other youth-based programming, such as the OPP Indigenous Policing Bureau's Youth Leadership Camp began in Moswag. As a command team, we try to structurally support this as best we can through flexible scheduling. Now, to help guide and direct our efforts in the years to come, we are finalizing a youth engagement strategy that includes both short and long-term goals and also measurables so we can tell how we're doing. We have already started along this road, rekindling a past relationship with the 1909 Collingwood Royal Canadian Army Cadet Corps, and with partnering with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Brave Bruce and Western Simcoe to bring the Bigger Together program to our detachment area. Further, we are well on our way to creating a youth police advisory committee with young youth from Collingwood and the Blue Mountains to ensure a youth voice in the development and delivery of adequate and effective policing in our communities. So once again, thank you so much for your time tonight. It was important for us to let you know just how much we value the relationship we have with your staff, with your students, and with your board, and letting you know our commitments to ensuring youth engagement remains a priority in our attachment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions of clarification for our guests tonight? Trustee Gagnon?
Thank you for your presentation. You mentioned the University of Waterloo and the different research that they're doing, and you asked several questions. And the one that struck me was, what is not working well? Do you see anything that's not working well that we can help you improve going forward with students?
Thank you very much for your question. The truth of the matter is there is not very much academic research when it comes to school resource programs. Are they good? Are they not good? That's what we're trying to determine. In fact, the University of Waterloo is partnering to do a complete review of the OPP School Resource Officer Program. And it's taken a little bit longer than normal because for the OPP, and we have 160 detachments and 160 different ways of doing the exact same thing. So we're really hoping that the recommendations coming out of the data set and the interviews, and community interviews that are going to come out of that academic review are really going to help focus the program and make it more consistent across the board.
I just add a comment to that as well. Again, just to clarify, we feel badly in the town of the Blue Mountains detachment that we don't have access to the school resource officer program. Our sister board and detachment in Collingwood do, and we certainly see the extensive benefits from that. And I guess, again, part of our motivation tonight is to see ways where we, within the town of the Blue Mountains detachment, can enhance our program and relationship. And that may be a modified version of the school resource officer program at some point in the future. That's for us to work on, I guess, but thank you for the question.
Trustee Craig, question for clarification.
We all know that the primary role of police in our society is enforcement. that's appropriate, we need it. But we also know that in schools, when trouble breaks out, what's really needed is de-escalation. What's really needed is somebody to move in and quiet it down without a heavy hand. So I'd just like to ask you how you feel about your de-escalation programs and training and whether you're actually yielding positive results.
Thank you, sir. That was that's a great question. It's a wonderful question. And really, that is the focus of our SRO program in the town of Colton. It's relationship based. And our office takes the time to try and develop those relationships, to understand what the key underlying factors are and then deal with those underlying factors. And I can tell you anecdotally, the approach that's taken through the kindling relationship, through compassion, and yes, through a firm hand when it's called on, I think we've been very successful in developing those relationships. And I can tell you anecdotally, and I know if Christine Deneen, our SRO, were here today, that she could stand up here for an hour and to give you anecdotes about kids who would never have given us the time of day or calling her at 2 o'clock in the morning asking for help. And that's a real win for us. And that's the focus of what we're trying to achieve in the town of Left Detachment. Thank you.
Thank you, and through the chair, I can add to that as well. As I mentioned, I witnessed, I saw the relationship building, the de-escalation part, but also when a student really needed to reach out, they knew that constable, they knew that they could go to them. And what I did observe too, prior to teaching at Collingwood Collegiate, is I was teaching down in some of the elementary grades as well. And I think the array of programs that Inspector Richardson outlined is a real key part of that. Is building a relationship when they're young and being able to introduce them to some positive interaction with police, because sadly, it may be the only positive interaction they're witnessing. They may be seeing a lot more at home that is not going to be in that same context. So if we can provide all of those programs that we've said, then that can set the queue up nicely. So as they get older and they become young adults, hopefully then they will have a reference to a previous relationship and how they might react differently in scenario.
Any other questions, clarification? I would really like to thank you for taking the time to come to us tonight and to present your information. There's a lot that's included in your presentation, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Committee of the Whole Board reports, recommendations from the Committee of the Whole Board from May 7th. There are 4 recommendations coming forward from the Committee of the Whole Board meeting on May 7th, and Vice Chair Johnstone will present them.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to put the motion on the floor, and I'm looking for someone to second the motion. So the first one is that the Blue Water District School Board approved that Georgian Bay Community School student participate in outdoor education program field trips, PAD 20, Lake Eugenia, September 20th, 2024, PAD 20, Clay Banks, September 24th, 2024, and PAD 20, Killarney, October 7th to the 11th, 2024. Can I have a second, please? Thank you very much, Trustee Morgan. Is there any discussion? There isn't, and just to be, clear, because we have lots of people here this evening, and also some new student trustees / senators. So these motions, recommendations originally came from the Committee of the Whole, where there was much more discussion. And of course, the student trustees and senators often presented the tricks. So you'll get that opportunity going forward and trip that your school is going to give 2%, and we discuss it there. Unless there's some additional questions that pop up, there won't be generally much discussion. So all in favor? And that is carried. Motion 2. that the Blue Water District School Board approved that Great Highlands Secondary School students participate in the Italy Experience Field Trip, May 15th to May 24th, 2026, contingent that it aligns with all travel advisories at the time of the trip. Can I have a seconder for that, please? Thank you very much, Trustee Craig. Any further discussion? I see none. All in favor? And that is carried. That the Blue Water District School Board approved that Saugeen District senior school students participate in the DE80 Netherlands and France field trip, May 2nd to May 11th, 2025, contingent that it aligns with all travel advisories at the time of the trip. Can I have someone to second that? Thank you very much, Trustee Leeds. Any discussion? All in favor? And then finally, that the Blue Water District School Board changed the regular meeting of the board meeting from the third Tuesday to the fourth Tuesday in January 2025. Can I have a seconder? Thank you very much, Trustee McComb. Any further discussion concerning that? And go ahead, Trustee Kai Pokin.
I'm going to close that. So you know.
And all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. And that's my report.
And the Business Committee of the Whole Board from May 7th, and I'd like to invite the Business Chair, Johnstone, to speak to this report.
Yes. So this is just a report for information. Oh, right. This is just a report for information. And what was discussed had to do with the 2024-2025 education funding, community planning and partnership annual meeting, and finally the new Bucharest community school update. And that was the report and everything that wasn't in the report. Got any questions concerning that? Go ahead.
I see none. Thank you very much. Report from the Committee of the Whole Board in camera from this evening. There is no report this evening. Notice of motion. Just a reminder for notice of motions when they are considered out of order. We did this before, and I'll just refresh everyone again. Motions that the chair should rule out of order are motions that conflict with the law, Education Act, or its regulations, or with board's procedural bylaws, policies, or procedures. Motions that repeat the same motion or intent of another motion on the same day. Motions that conflict with an already adopted motion. Motions that operate outside the scope or mandate of the Board of Trustees. Motions that conflict with or repeat motions that have been referred to a committee, and motions that appear dilatory, incorrect, frivolous, or vexatious. So keep those in mind when you bring motions forward. Are there any new notice of motions for this evening? You see none? And then we have the notice of motion brought forward by Trustee Kaikonen on April the 16th. The chair rules that this motion is out of order as it intends to provide direction that would be considered operational and in contravention of the expectations outlined in AP 2803-D, flags, use and display. BP, so it's an administrative procedure, BP 2803, flags, use and display, provides the board's system expectation related to the display of flags across the board and clearly states the policy will be operationalized by AP 2803-D. Trustee Kaikonen?
I'd like to appeal that chair's ruling, but I'd also like to say if it's operationalized, then who's making the final decisions, how much flags we're flying?
It's contained in our procedure, which we've discussed before, but we will be discussing the ruling the chair's ruling. I'm just gonna add a little bit and then anyone can, if you want to make a comment. Oh, we need a seconder to appeal. And then we will vote on the chair's ruling. So our AP 2803-D flags use and display provides Blue Water District school facilities with operational expectations they must follow. Specifically, section 2.9 indicates that decision to fly additional flags is at the discretion of the principal with the approval of the area's superintendent and must align with the values of Blue Water District School Board and support the expectation of BP 6820-D, Safe and Accepting Schools, BP 7520-D, Human Rights, and BP 6303-D, Equity and Inclusive Education. Is there anyone else that would like to make, you get one opportunity to speak to the ruling. Trustee Kaikona?
Well, I think to be fair to the people in the room, we should probably read them the motion. Because I think that everybody's sitting in the dark thinking if they haven't looked at that agenda, they have no idea what we're talking about. So I'm going to read it. No.
It would only be read if it is not ruled out of order. Any other comments anyone wants to make? I see none. So what we're doing is voting on the chair's ruling that this motion is out of order. Upholding the ruling of the chair. Go ahead, trustee.
So just to clarify, is a vote in favor of holding, or is a vote in favor of the appeal or in favor of the chair's ruling? Thank you. Okay.
A vote in favor is a vote in favor of the chair's ruling. All in favor. That is carried. Next on our agenda is committee establishment and appointments. And it's respecting the director's performance appraisal committee and annual appointments. Ontario Regulation 83/24, Director of Education of Performance Appraisal is new legislation that requires the board to appoint board members annually to a director performance appraisal committee. We will be appointing 3 trustees to the committee this evening for the upcoming 2024-2025 performance appraisal process. In accordance with the requirements of the new legislation, I invite trustees interested in being on the director's performance appraisal to put their name forward. I'd just like to clarify, this committee is responsible for establishing the process as outlined in the regulation. The actual evaluation of the director will involve all trustees. So this is a work team, if you will, to take a look at what the ministry has put forward in their regulation, the timelines, to work to meet all of those timelines, work on the policies, etc. As I said, we discussed in policy, we're waiting on further information, but we do have deadlines to meet. So it's a work team, and then we'll outline the process that will be established as directed by the ministry, and then we'll go through the performance appraisal with everyone involved. I will be putting my name forward as one of the interested committee members, and I will open it up to who else would be interested. Trustee Johnstone, Trustee Kaikkonen, and Trustee Atkinson. And Trustee Morgan. Okay. As we need 3 people, is there anyone that is interested in withdrawing their name before we go to a vote? Okay. So we have Thompson. Stone. By Coleman. Atkinson. And as we do this, as we did before, it's a show of hands, as we do our procedures. So, I will just say a name and you vote. If people will get the majority of votes, will be our committee. And, we'll move forward with getting this work done.
First,
Go ahead.
I guess we spoke about earlier about the arm's length thing and about the executive committee having all of the power amongst the board of trustees. So I'm just wondering, is it possible that maybe somebody on the, either the chair position or the vice chair can open up a position for the rest of us trustees who don't have or are not privy to the executive committee decisions, that we might actually learn too and be part of this process?
I'm planning to let my name stand because it's the first year. I have the opportunity as chair to listen to Minister Lecce every 2 weeks, and this comes up on a regular basis. So once we get a process established, I think it will make good sense for others to take a lead. But I think for this one, as it's really new, I have a privilege to hear some of the information as it's coming, and there's some tight timelines.
And I'll be keeping my name going forward for a couple of reasons. It's been talked about at the Ontario School Board Association. I'm on the director on the Ontario Public School Association, which we're actually working on an outline to actually do this appraisal on directors. And so I'd be also getting additional, information. And I have experience in the past with doing the director's appraisal for basically their income and superintendent. So in terms of it's a working group, and it is also the first time around, and there are tight timelines.
Been to my attention that I require a mover and seconder to do this voting. Trustee Morgan. Second, trustee Roots. And the actual motion reads, the Blue Water District School Board appoint 3 trustees to the Directors of Performance Appraisal Committee in accordance with the requirements of Ontario Regulation 83/24, Director of Education Performance Appraisal for the 2024-2025 Performance Appraisal Process. So I will put my name at the end. I'll start with trustee Johnstone. All in favor of trustee Johnstone. And that is a majority of trustees. And trustee Kaikonen. Trustee Atkinson. And trustee Thompson. Thank you. So our committee to get this work done for this year is trustee Thompson, Johnstone, and Atkinson. All in favor?
Why not? Yes.
I would like to invite student trustee Robinson. Motion's finished.
I'm just seeking some clarity. This will come back to all the trustees for all trustees approval.
The process is all outlined in the report that you've provided. And the link is there. And student trustee Robinson, welcome.
Hi, nice. All right. So students at Blue Water District School Board are working hard, prepping for tests and upcoming exams. Many schools recently held events and information sessions over Mental Health Week to bring awareness and education on mental health support. Prairie Highlands School hosted events all month and decorated their display case with tips and support systems. And Blue Water District School Board hosted a lunchtime event for the week, including therapy talks and line dancing at Owensound District Secondary School. John Beaker hosted a movie night, and Walkerton District School hosted spirit days such as Pastel Day and Jersey Day. Prairie Highlands Equity Council and bylaw groups are partnering to host a sunshine dance this upcoming Thursday, which will be free to all students and include free desserts and flowers. And Prairie Highlands is sending students to the Provincial Rural Summit on for May 29th to the 31st, which has guest speakers talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. For International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia on May 17th, many students, staff, and administrators wore rainbow colors. And track and field happened recently, and many students are moving to Kawasa starting tomorrow. May 5th was Red Dress Day, and many students wore red on Friday to show support against murder and missing Indigenous women and children. Many schools have visual displays as well. Students from high schools attended the Science Olympics facilitated by the Nuclear Innovation Institute, and many core and French immersion students participated in the adult exam last week. At the Multicultural Fair on Saugeen District Senior School on April 26th, students shared stories from their families, history, and culture, and got to experience many different parts of the world, and I've heard that the food there was great. They had an Indian food truck and multiple booths set up with food and events, and the event was very well attended. There was multiple field trips to Stratford by different schools. Owensound District Secondary School saw La Cage aux Folles, and Peninsula Shores and John B. Maker saw Romeo and Juliet. This month, we have multiple upcoming student forums. May 27th is the Indigenous Student Forum at Blue Water Outdoor Education Center, and the Rainbow Conference is hosted on May 30th, which you will hear about more in our next Student Senate report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do trustees have any questions of student trustee Robinson? Trustee Kaikkonen.
I have a question about the hate sessions at Great Islands on May 29th and 31st. Is there an active program for the students who don't feel included or part of the diversity or equity center?
Students don't have to go if they don't want to.
It's
It's a trip.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
Any other questions? Comments? The end of the school year is coming very, very quickly. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to recognize our 2024-2025 student trustees and senators. And I would like to invite Superintendent LeFebvre to speak to this report. Oh, 23-24. I got a year ahead.
Yes, Chair, it is the 23-24. We're not gonna recognize yet the people who are next year. We're gonna recognize our current ones. So I have the distinct honor, as I mentioned before, working with the Student Senate. The Student Senate is composed of 11 students, nine students, one from each of our secondary schools, as well as two First Nation students from Indigenous students from both Peninsula Shores and Saugeen District Senior School. I'm going to call up the senators, and I have. Okay. All right, so our first student, unfortunately, there are some people who couldn't make it tonight. Our students are very busy. We have lots of going on, lots of sporting events. They're just busy. They're busy people. So Bruce Peninsula District School, our student senator this year was Mackenzie Hawk. She cannot be with us here tonight. From Georgian Bay Community School, Bonnie Kwan Bentley, and Bonnie unfortunately can't be with us here tonight either. From Great Highlands Secondary School, Trinity Peachin. From John Diefenbaker Senior School, Ethan Hens. This was Ethan's second year. He was a senator last year and then a trustee this year. So we did really help the group along at the very start. He was our veteran. King Carden District Senior School, Carter Snowblin. Carter cannot be with us here tonight. And from Owen Sound District Secondary School, Macy Robinson. From Peninsula Shores District School, Bree Dales. Bree cannot be with us here tonight. And from Peninsula Shores District School, Tanis Eby, and he could not be with us tonight. Saugeen District Senior School, Afnan Shahid. And from Saugeen District Senior School, Lexi Ritchie. And from Walkerton District Community School, Sam Ostreicher. Now, at the request of our chair, we're going to hand this over to the students and just ask them if they could share what they're up to next year, what their plans are in the near future.
Next year, I'll be starting grade 12. I'll be co-president along with our new student trustee. And I'll also be continuing running our school's equity council.
That's true. Next year, I'll be returning for a 13th year by school.
Next year I'll be attending Huron University at Western, and I was also for governance leadership and ethics. And I was also accepted into early entry into their Ivy Business School, so I'll be doing that my third and fourth year.
I'll be attending grade 12 next year.
I'll just be attending grade 13.
Next year, I'll be attending Brock University for concurrent education in the junior intermediate stream to get my mathematics teacher.
That is fantastic. And I can tell you, Kim Harbinson is like, oh, right, we need math teachers because that's the one area in summer school. We need more math teachers. Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. And we're going to do one picture with all of us. Yeah. Do that. What's the best spot, Jane? Here. Well, Ethan, you stand by. Thanks. It is a tremendous amount of work. Our student senators and our student trustees, they put in many hours. They're here just so people I don't know if people realize, they'll leave school on a Tuesday, they'll get here, I know Macy's here at 4:15 every Tuesday, every second Tuesday, doing their homework and getting ready for the meeting that starts at 5. They're meeting and they're doing work with some of my staff, with Kim or Avian or other people, and getting ready and doing, getting the student forums set up. They're meeting with sometimes the facilitators for those student forums, and they're helping to provide input to that. And then they are coming to the meetings afterwards. So thank you very much for all your work. You did a fantastic job with this. We're really proud of you. Should I just start the next one? Sorry.
And now we'll meet our 2024-2025 student trustees and senators.
Thank you, Chair. So for our student senators, what we do is we hold elections in each of our 9 schools in the spring. And we elect the student senators. We have an orientation meeting for the 11 senators. And we also, at that time, they speak to their peers, those who wish to have their name stand forward to be student trustees at the table. And we elect 2 student trustees. So I'm going to introduce the 11 student senator, the Senate for next year, 9 student senators, and the 2 students who were elected as trustees. They're going to stand and give a little bit of a wave, right? We practiced. And then you can place a face with the name. So we thought that would be nice. And today's meeting was a great opportunity for them to get to see a board meeting in action, try some of the food that we offer you at dinner time, and they were very impressed. So from Bruce Peninsula District School, Bronwyn Stanton. Now, Bronwyn was unable to be with us today, so Bronwyn's not here. Georgian Bay Community School, Maya Kearns. And Maya was also not able to be with us today. I'm bad to go for 2 now. Gray Highlands Secondary School, Amy White. John Diepenbaker Senior School, is Evie here?
Evie.
Evie, sorry, Evie. Hi. Evie, can you fit? Sorry, Amy. That's okay. Amy's got a good sense of humor. I've already sensed that about her, so I think she's okay. From Kincardine District Senior School, Ishpreet Gill. From Owen Sound District Secondary School, Hayden Powell. From Peninsula Shores District School, Hannah Holt. Hannah was not able to be with us here tonight, but also from Peninsula Shores District School, Madeline Carson. From Saugeen District Senior School, Marwan Bayoumi. Also from Saugeen District Senior School, Barrett Wesley. And from Walkerton District Community School, Hazel Karn. So the 2 student trustees for next year, maybe you could just stand again, Amy White and Hayden Powell. And a huge thank you to our outgoing Senate and trustees. They've been working really closely with the new Senate to get them familiar with the role and explain how things work. I know they're going to hit the ground running in September. Thanks for coming out tonight and doing your wave, and we'll be all ready to go with the new school year. Thank you.
On behalf of all of the trustees, welcome. And next, I would like to invite Vice Chair Johnstone to speak to our multi-year strategic plan, development plan, I guess.
So thank you very much. So every school board in Ontario is governed by, of course, board of trustees, and it has a legislative.
Put on.
I just realized I didn't put it on. Sorry to interrupt. Could I have a mover and seconder? Trustee Morgan and trustee Richie, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I was just getting going here. Anyway, so you have to, we have legislative requirement as board of trustees, and that we have develop a multi-year strategic plan. The plan is supposed to be a visioning document that sets the direction of the board with an emphasis, of course, on student achievement and well-being and ensuring effective stewardship of the board's resources. Details concerning and regarding the obligations for the multi-year strategic plan are outlined in the Education Act. So it's like a template. You must do this, and and how you go about doing it. So we originally, the Blue Water District School Board launched our current multi-year strategic plan back in 2019. And it also has been very well aligned with the Ministry of Education's 3 priorities for student achievement. And that is achievement of learning outcomes and core academic skills, preparation of students for future success, and student engagement and well-being. In addition to ensuring that our priorities align with the ministry's priorities, is that school boards can also be a little bit flexible in terms of incorporating more local needs and perspectives. In an effort to solicit public feedback as part of the review of the Blue Water District School Board's multi-year strategic plan, there is an attachment in your report today, and it is an anonymous online survey, has been developed by Thought Exchange. The questions actually focus on assessing the relevance of the current vision and mission statement and each of the 4 strategic priority areas with their associated goal. The survey will run from May 23rd until the end of June, with a variety of communication methods used to promote and encourage participation. These would include links to the survey on the Blue Water District School Board's website, social media and school messenger promotion, a media release, and a numbered mail of internal staff and employee group representatives. And copies of the survey would also be made available upon request. The feedback received from the survey would be brought together with common themes memorized to assist trustees during the next phase of the multi-year strategic plan development process. And I'm quite willing to take questions, and of course, the director is here and also can take questions. So go ahead, trustee Luce.
Thank you. Just a quick question, given that it's on Thought Exchange, will this be like other Thought Exchange things where you can rate other responses or?
Suggestion for this process would be, they now have a survey option, so it would be a survey as opposed to exchange and ratings of ideas.
Perfect, thank you.
I just wanted to make a comment. So essentially, we're beginning the process of reviewing our multi-year strategic plan. And the first step is, if trustees approve, we'll put the survey out to gather some feedback. And then we'll be looking at doing the trustee piece of it, as we've talked about before, in the fall.
And normally when boards of trustees put together a strategic plan, is that, kind of do a plan for 3 or 4 years and then completely change it. I mean, first of all, we have to follow ministry mandate, so that's given. But it's really, I see it personally, and I've seen this across the province with other boards, is it's building on your present strategic plan. So, there might be some things we needed to kind of, filled up, or we want something a little added in there. I can remember some years ago that when we did our first initial strategic plan, we didn't have anything about resources. About being responsible for resources. That was a really big oversight. So we actually added that in because it's one of the big pieces for trustees is to be financially responsible for the dollars that we have to ensure that go to students and of course our staff and serve the public interest. Thank you.
So are there questions about the strategic plan, but the survey in particular? Trustee Kaikkonen?
I'm not sure if this is the third or the fourth survey we've done this year. But my question is on the common themes. I believe that one of the surveys, we had 3 outcomes, and it was reading and writing, mental health, or math and mental health. So are we going to reduce the common themes to 3, or are we going to be more comprehensive and inclusive and have a number of themes, common themes coming out of this survey?
This is a survey that's, I guess our jumping off part is our multi-year strategic plan. There was opportunity given throughout for comments, not just multiple choice or, ticking off something so people can add what they feel is important if it was missed in the checkoffs. The purpose of this one is the trustees' information for what we're gathering to do our multi-year strategic plan. Different than perhaps any of the other different than any of the other surveys because they haven't been trustee surveys.
Just to be clear, because the survey theme areas were actually attached in your report that was going to be for you. So it says what our vision is, what our mission, and what our priorities are, and that is safe, supportive learning community, quality instruction, community engagement, and stewardship of resources. And then it also is right there in terms of values, graduate qualities. And then there's the different survey questions that are below it and they're related to the strategic plan. And that's the survey.
Story. Any other questions before I go back to trustee Kaikkonen? Go ahead.
Thank you. So if we have like 20 common themes come out of these questions, will we have 20 responses that we will see? I guess that is my question. Because I'm thinking back to the other survey, even the climate survey, we don't get the whole comprehensive viewpoints of parents and staff and students who bring forward their ideas and their concerns. And so I'm thinking if there's going to be common themes, can we have a comprehensive review of those themes that come out of these surveys? We haven't had them in the past, that's why I asked.
Multi-year strategic plan is a trustee document, so that's would be the work I think alluded to by Chair Thompson in the fall, where you would look at the results and then make a plan going forward on what the multi-year strategic plan would look like.
Any other questions or comments? Trustee Craig?
I find the section of 5 values a little weak. The only one that seems to pertain to all of the values about the community and respect for other people is enhanced equity. That's good. It's a good thing. I wish that there was a statement in there that said in effect that one of our values will be to respect differences in all respects. In other words, when that speak to anti-racism, respect for people of different sexual orientation. These are important issues within our society these days, and we can see them reflected in the survey. Not like being a lot of words.
So the values that are listed are the current they're in the current strategic plan that's done in 2019. So given what you said, there would be an opportunity for folks to comment on those and hopefully, I mean, that might be direction that's going, that the work that you will do in the fall to redo those values. That's from 2019.
That sounds sensible.
And you will also have an opportunity when, as a group of trustees, we look at this, to add to that if you feel it needs to be strengthened. Anyone else? So, it was moved by trustee Morgan and seconded by trustee Ritchie that Blue Water District School Board approve initiating the process of developing the board's multi-year strategic plan, and that Blue Water District School Board approve that an online survey be conducted as part of the development process for the multi-year strategic plan. All in favor? Thank you, that is carried. We're to communications with no correspondence. Are there any announcements from student trustees, staff? Trustee Atkinson?
Tomorrow, I'd like to invite anyone who's in the Durham area to come to Spruce Ridge and visit. We're having Dwayne Morgan is coming to speak. And I must say a little bit, this all started because of a PIC networking meeting that we had here at the Educational Center. So Normandy Community School and Spruce Ridge Community School all pooled their PIC money, their envelope of money for their grant, and got this wonderful speaker. He'll be speaking at Normandy at 8, I believe, early morning, and talking to the students on racism. And then at noon, he'll be at Spruce Ridge, and he will be talking to the students there on the same topic. But in the evening at 6:30, he'll be talking to the community and the parents about technology, social media, and one of his last sentence in this paragraph says, the session breaks down how the world is changing, and we know it's really changing, and offer some strategies for how we can stay connected to our plugged-in children. So that's a great night. And I was saying to Jamie at dinner, I've seen this online, but when I got it in a hard copy, I actually seen on the bottom is Dwayne with Barack Obama. So anyway, I just want to thank Wendy and her team for that night, because great things are happening because of this. And also going back to Ayton on Monday, they're having their second annual carnival. And I think I told you about it last year. They were a bunch of parents at their SCC meeting had a goal, and that was to raise $100,000 in 10 months for their playground. Well, they've reached that goal. So they thought, now they are going after my second passion, which is nutrition. So they're having a carnival night to raise money for their nutrition program. And let me say, it will be a very interesting night. There's a barbecue, there's all kinds of things, children karaoke, but there may be one of us kissing a farm animal. And there may be one of us getting a pie in the face. Now, I volunteered for this project because the kids don't see me there, so they don't have a clue who Mrs. Atkinson is. But I have lovely friends. And right now I'm in the lead for the pie. So, and a good cause. So I invite you to come. It's at 5:30 on Monday. And if you could come to Durham on tomorrow night to hear Dwayne Morgan, you're welcome. And I'm sure I'll have lots to tell you at the next one if you can't make it.
Trustee Marvin.
Madam Chair, it was said at the board table tonight that we don't have enough good stories about what happens with this board. And last Thursday, I went to the junior field day at GBCS. So that was up to grade 5. And I was delighted to see the number of parents, grandparents, neighbors, cheering all of these kids on, even the one that sat down in the middle of the track for 5 minutes. Across the finish line, and he got a roaring clap. So there are good things happening in the board.
Yes. Are you, okay, trustee Johnston?
Yes, last week I attended a math night at Elkin Market Elementary School. I actually ended up working when I got there. The whole place there was a huge lineup outside at parents trying with kids trying to get in, and it was also going to thunderstorm. So I just jumped in and helped out in terms of getting, families registered and get their stuff that they needed for math night. But they were not expecting the response from the local school community. And also they had there was books for sale there and every kid was able to have a book. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I was really quite thrilled to see math night become a huge success in kindergarten.
I just would like to acknowledge Peninsula Shores too. They took their money from their PIC money and had a games night, but rather than hosting it at Peninsula Shores, they went to Nawash and hosted at Nawash. As you know, we're often encouraging people to come into the school, thought it was a good opportunity for everyone to travel to Nawash and be part of the community, and they said it was a roaring success. His patients. Are there any director conferences, conventions, out of district meetings to share? Steve Johnson.
Yeah, it could have been under D2 too, but I have an Ontario Public School Board program meeting, and then it's at the end of May, and that'll be the last meeting for this year.
Thank you. I plan on attending the CSBA 2024. That's the trustee gathering on Indigenous education, in July 3rd to 5th in Toronto. Also, NCI, the National Citizens Inquiry hearings are starting up again at the end of this month. I will be in Saskatoon.
Thank you. The trustee calendar of events is getting very short and has been provided for your information. And with that, I would say that we are adjourned at 8:37 p.m. And I have a mover, please. Craig, seconded by trustee Moore. And safe home, everyone.